Joining a podcast network is a great way to promote, monetize, and grow your show. Let's go through the pros and cons so you can decide if it's the right move for you. A podcast network is essentially an umbrella company that represents a bunch of individual shows. Their goals are to market shows to increase listenership and to create a pool for advertisers to buy ads. The number of shows that they host varies, and some podcast networks stick to themes like true crime shows or interview shows, while others are more open. When you join a podcast network, your show gets promoted on their other shows, they support your digital marketing campaigns, and they use their sponsorship connections to place ads on your show. So essentially, they do a lot of the hard work for you, for a cut of the revenue, usually around 10 to 30%. Now let's say your show gets 10,000 downloads an episode, and you're charging a CPM rate of $22. After the podcast network takes a 30% cut, you'll still get $154 of the $220 that is made per episode. Now multiply that by the amount of episodes that you release monthly, and you have your monthly revenue. So although they take a significant cut, not having to worry about finding sponsors and advertisers saves you a significant amount of time that you can then focus on creating content. Networks want to work with podcasts that have influence in order to earn maximum revenue. They have requirements for the number of downloads, at least 1,000 downloads per week, but some can be as high as 50,000 downloads a month. The bigger podcast networks have higher requirements. Frequency, they'll require at least one episode to be released per week. And revenue, they'll take up to 30% of the profit. Some great things about joining a podcast network are you will grow your listener base, you'll get help and mentorship for production, you'll have access to bigger marketing budgets and campaign expertise from podcast network marketing teams. You'll be part of a recognized network, you'll have access to a bunch of new connections, and networks have resources to fully monitor your analytics. There are some downfalls to consider as well. You may have to hand over more control of your content, meaning reduced creativity. They will take a cut of your revenue. Most networks want their shows to be produced and hosted on the same platform, meaning you might have to switch your hosting site. You may have to sign a contract giving the podcast network exclusive rights and control over your podcast sponsors and advertisers, meaning you lose any previous connections. So how can you become part of a network? Your first step is to find relevant podcast networks. There are a few ways to do this. Search Indie Podcast Network plus your genre on Google, ask on public forums like podcasting subreddits, browse sites like Chartable, find shows that are similar to yours on podcast directories, and see what network they are a part of. Sometimes their network name will be included under the title rather than the host or producer's name. Once you have podcast networks that seem relevant, research them thoroughly and see how your show would fit in well on their network. You need to demonstrate your podcast's value to a network, so make it a priority to grow your show ahead of time. If you can find someone to advertise on your show during the growth process, it will show networks that someone is willing to spend money on your show and give you more leverage when negotiating a deal. Things to include in your pitch email are your name, your podcast, a short 200-word description of what your podcast is about and how it fits into their network. You want to show that you have done your research. Include your monthly listener count, your download number, your current revenue as of a certain date, a professional bio illustrating how you're qualified on the podcast theme, and listener testimonials. Sound like a lot? We've included a template for you in the description of this video. Ask them questions. You want to make sure that you will be benefiting from the deal and that there are no surprises. Here are 8 questions to ask to lead you in the right direction. Will you get a say over ad content, who the sponsors are, how much they pay, and the cut the network takes? What, if any, creative restrictions are there on podcasters? Can you issue a trial contract for several episodes before committing? Can you keep any existing sponsors? What kind of boost will your show get when you join the network? Which shows will you have to promote on your podcast? How much impact will changing podcast hosting platforms have on your show and audience? What are any other benefits of working with them? If you've decided that a podcast network isn't necessarily for you, then there are tons of other ways to find sponsors and monetize your podcast. You can apply to join a sponsor agency without technically being part of a network. A sponsorship agency is a company that specializes in matching marketing and promotional opportunities with corporate sponsors. Some great examples to look into are Authentic and Audioboom. You can also check out our videos on podcast sponsorship and monetizing your podcast for more ways to make money off of your show. We hope this video helped you learn all about podcast networks and decide if they're the right move for you. If you learned something new, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. And before you go, subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you'll never miss another video from the Riverside YouTube channel.